Oh. Yeah, I'll put an arrow there. Immediately will spit out a processed sound. So we'll call this processed or post sound. How's that? So 3 will be with 3 is to start processing, and I think we already did this step pretty much. We might have to do a few things. Yeah, we will have to do a few things. And step 4 is to create this entity immediately. That's the important part, because we don't know how long the processing part is going to take. And this is a background thread. So immediately create post entity. And then after this is a little complicated. We want to transfer the audio over gradually. And we don't have to make any speaker sounds. We could have it create the sound immediately once it comes out of here, and that might be okay. And at first, maybe we'll do that. But I was going to say it should only make the sound when this collides with something. We'll see what happens. But for now, having these steps, so this is just the visual side, pretty much. And yeah, on the creation, we can start outputting the sound immediately. This is going to be a little tricky, but we should do it at some point, so let's do it now. We already have one object. Let me put this on the... let me show you how the app works really quickly. So I'll blow the screen up. And you can see, oh, you know what? It's not going to work. It's not going to work because I've got the wall in the way. Anyway, this is a very old version where there was no mic input yet. You can still see it. I have to kill the screen because there's glare. Alright, so I've got this guy here, and my camera... Okay, I've got to do this in a way so that I can see it. Basically, we've got a shooting object that creates lots of sine tones. It looks like I have to plug in the headphones. Sometimes this happens. This took me a long time to debug. But to reset the sound, sometimes you plug in the headphones and take them out, and then it works again. So I'm going to restart this now. Yeah, so basically every wall has its own tone, and when a block hits it, it makes that tone. And I've shown that before. I haven't shown in the the top, there's an exit panel. So when an object hits that, it exits. And you probably can't see, but there's a little score right here. Wow. For some reason my Mac camera's not working so good. On the right here there's a little score that keeps track of the number of elements that goes out of that panel. So the reason I bring that up is because we can use all this. What we are doing with the effect box is very similar to what we're doing with the exit panel. So let me shrink the camera down to a more reasonable size. I'm going to take a quick look at exit gate. First I'll look at the H file. There's nothing in it that's important except for maybe last hit time. Everything is an inherited, everything's pretty much inherited. So instead of classes, we want to look at the mm file. So if you look at this, probably defines just the collision right here. So there's a collide with call, and I believe both entities of the collision receive this call. And we can control via a Boolean pointer if we should remove the A object or the B object. And the object, within the context of this code, the A object is the exit gate, and the B object is whatever you collide with. So this is what we're doing. We check that the other object is a snakeable entity, and these are the things that move around pretty much so far in the game. And if it does move around, well, all we do is set the remove to true, and we increment this points counter. So we can pretty much copy this for exit gate, and we'll get a workable result. So I'm going to do that. Copy this to output, no, not output entity. What was it called? Effect entity. Lots of files open. Alright, so here, yeah. Right here. So there's nothing pertaining to exit gate. So this should be fine. Remove the other guy. We don't need to increment the points because this isn't an exit. But instead, we will need to add, yeah, we could take a last hit time. I think we already have a last hit time in effect entity. Yeah, we do. So here we're going to have to do this. This is the collision event. So going back to our drawing, we need to transfer the audio at this point. So what we might do, yeah, you know, it might be nice to change this from snakeable entity to something like a buffer subclass. But for now, I think we will be okay. No, until we do that, we should keep this as whatever you call it. What do you call that again? Voice entity. This is a little weird because this means that only voice entity will be able to interact, and the output won't be able to interact with the effect. So this won't allow feedback. What I mean is, this new object that gets spit out won't be able to come back around and hit this. If it does, nothing will happen. It'll just bounce off and not be removed, because they don't inherit from the same superclass. Or they do, but that superclass is not generic enough. Actually, I take that back. Yeah, I take that back. You know what? This is what we can do. Let me look at a few things. I was going to look at effect entity.mm and see what it needs, and I think all it needs as input is the filter sound, and we can query for the filter sound and only do something if it's null. So yeah, here is what we can do. Now what was I about to do? Yeah, so it's going to be something like this. Add, take the sound from the entity and add it to our processing queue. So we're going to need a filter sound, and let's call it sound. And sound will be snakeable entity other. And we need its method called, there needs to be something that creates sound objects without adding them to the filter audio IO. And let me see if there's something like that yet. I don't think there is. So the one we're looking at is voice entity dot mm. So see, we have this called make bounce sound, and this is what creates the sound. This is all we need to create the sound. However, we add it immediately to the whatchamacallit, to the filter audio mixer. One thing we could do is right here actually, you know, I wonder if this is released. Oh yeah, it's auto-released, so we're okay. We could modify this to just return the filter sound. That might be okay. The other option is to not do that and just have another call.